Welcome to the show. I'm Jason Whitlock, and I'll tell you why the Raiders need to say goodbye to Marshawn Lynch and his antics.
I got my dealer shirt on. Shaq, Club King. I'm Colin Cowherd, and I'll tell you why LeBron to the Lakers might not work out after all. Speak for yourself starts now on a Friday. I don't know. I know it's one game. They do play Phoenix tonight.
Yeah,
maybe I'll be back on the bandwagon.
Lonzo ball hype going up in smoke. All right, hello and welcome. We're joined today by a couple of Super Bowl winners, Eric Davis and Rob Ryan. Let's start in Oakland, where Derek Carr kept the Raiders' season alive with a comeback win over my Chiefs last night. After struggling in his first game back from injury last week, Carr threw for 3 touchdowns and more than 400 yards, including an 85-yard touchdown drive to win it on an untimed down after several penalties in the end zone. Cowherd, were you impressed with Carr and the Raiders last night?
I love the kid. Now listen, here's the thing. If you were a cornerback and you kind of kicked it around for 3 quarters but had a big play late, I'm out on you. But Derek Carr, when I look at quarterbacks, game on the line, 24, go. That kid rises. A lot of guys shrink late. He is just one of those guys. He's that kid at USC, Darnold. He'll kick it around for 3 quarters. 3 minutes to go, Derek Carr's magic. I don't know what it's not his arm. It's not his feet. They're all fine.
So now he's Sam Darnold.
All I'm saying, man.
Earlier you were comparing him, he was the new Aaron Rodgers, but now he's down to Sam Darnold. I was
thinking about that myself.
All I'm saying is, man, 3 minutes to go, I felt I was like, oh, no, this is good. I'm all good. And I thought about you. I thought Whitlock called it. Raiders going to win this game.
Well, look, you've already made my point. Look, when you go from being compared to Aaron Rodgers to Sam Darnold, that says a mouthful. I wasn't impressed.
At all?
No. Look, 55% completion percentage. Several balls that should have been picked off. A Chiefs defense that's damn near as bad as the New England Patriots defense. The missing of Eric Berry to the Chiefs defense. When Marcus Peters is the strongest personality in your secondary room, you got a problem. They miss Eric Berry, their leader of that back unit.
You didn't like that last drive by Derek Carr?
I don't know. Me and Tony Romo were both confused. What were they doing? 2 receivers running the exact same route in the exact same position, and he just lobs it up and hopes one of them catches it. Look, I don't want to take a huge dump on him. He's coming off injuries, but I just wasn't impressed last night. He missed some open receivers. He made a couple 4th down plays. You got to give him credit for that. But then I don't.
Don't you think he has an it quality? Let me talk to the corner. Are you impressed by him?
I'm impressed by him. He made the plays that he had to make. Kansas City didn't. Yes, you can say, well, there were some drop balls. There were some missed passes.
That was a drop.
That was not a drop. That was a bad pass.
At the end, I'm not saying he had a perfect game. It's no different than Tom Brady a couple of weeks ago could have thrown some interceptions and the game would have been over, but it didn't end that way. And he got another opportunity, and he made the play. And that's what you want your quarterback to do in that situation.
Look at his throw.
He got the ball, had to drive, had to get his team in the end zone, and he did it. That's impressive.
Yeah, I mean, this guy's a winner. Look, he proved it last year. All those close games, and he came back.
9 of them.
He did it last year, and sure enough, once they got the ball, did anybody think they weren't going to get it done?
You expect him to get it done.
Done.
If you'd seen the Chiefs' defense,
why
wouldn't
the Chiefs
you?
are playing cover 5. You lose inside leverage. Well, you're in trouble there because that's what the coverage is supposed to be.
Yeah.
But he was doing a good job. Look, he can't help that the 2 receivers, one of them got rerouted so much on a double seam route that they were on top of each other.
Yes.
Right.
He just threw it where the guy could catch it.
And he caught it.
He did.
13. I mean, again, the knock on Kirk Cousins for you has always been he's great until it matters.
Right.
Carr's often the opposite. He'll kick it around, and he's 13 4th-quarter overtime comebacks.
Look, they got it done, and you got to give Derek Carr and them credit at the end of the game. I just wasn't that impressed with the Raiders. Just overall.
Okay, well,
that's different.
Overall, I just wasn't impressed. I talked to Rob before the show. I couldn't figure out what were they doing defensively. They did nothing to me to try to free up Khalil Mack to get him to the quarterback. If he could get there on his own, fine. But running any stunts, nothing in any blitz packages. They did blitz at the end, finally at the end of the game, and made some plays. But I didn't like the Raiders on either side of the ball that much. But
a quarterback's a little like a good friend. My good friend can miss a lot of stuff, but I'm in crisis. Are you there for me? That's kind of how I look at my quarterback. I don't need perfect. I don't care about the 55. I don't care about his completion percentage. But, man, in all these late games,
Alex Smith outplayed him.
Well, you know, not late.
He didn't get on the field.
Oh.
He did. Before, he didn't get on the field at the end of the game because they ran out of the clock.
But Alex outplaying him doesn't make his performance any less impressive. Because I agree. Alex may have had a better game and may have looked more solid back there. But this guy, it's impressive when a quarterback can get it done in crunch time, regardless. That's what everyone wants their quarterback to be. That's why we always throw out the word clutch.
Alex Smith got the ball back a couple of minutes to go, couldn't get a first down.
He didn't get, with 16 seconds, he got the ball back.
They finally stopped him on third down because he had been wearing him out. They kept playing zone, soft zone, and Khalil Mack, to your point, well, they're not helping him free up. He's killing the tackles. He's going to get there, but the quarterbacks don't have to throw the ball. They don't have to hold it. They just throw it because there's no tight coverage. Yeah. The coverage is just awful for
to New England, where we'll see a rematch of last year's Super Bowl, Patriots-Falcons, Sunday night. That's a real game. Now, so far, both teams have had struggles. The Falcons losing 2 straight, and their once mighty offense, who told you this would happen, coming back to earth, while the Patriots defense, listen, it's just the personnel issue. It's not very good. Almost lost to the Jets last week. Whitlock, are you more concerned about the Falcons' sputtering offense or the Patriots' lifeless defense?
Before I answer that, you were correct about the change in the offensive coordinator and just the Atlanta's offense backing up. I get that. But Atlanta still has Julio Jones.
Yes.
Atlanta still has 2 very good running backs. Atlanta still has a very precise quarterback. The Patriots defense just has a personnel shortage that cannot be fixed.
Yeah, this is it. This is as good as it is.
Vince Wilfork isn't going to roll back through that door. So I don't think you can fix what the problems are on the Patriots side.
I completely agree. Here's what's interesting. So we look at all these Patriot stats, and, stats can be overrated. Who have you played? Okay, the Patriots defense, their stats are the worst in the league. They've played the Jets offense, highly inconsistent Jameis Winston, and a rookie quarterback. What if they'd have played elite quarterbacks? That was Deshaun Watson's second start. Cam was virtually flawless. Josh McCown looked like beyond capable. I think all you coordinators are trying to upgrade what you have, even if you have great stuff. Yeah. They're on a pass rush. They've let go of Jamie Collins. They've let go of Chandler Jones. They let go of Jabbar Sheard. They don't have players. I mean, to me, New England can't get much better.
I think they can. The nice thing about Belichick is, look, he game plans each week specifically to change up, hey, whatever we can do best to attack the offense. So right now it's 0 for 6. I mean, 6 quarterbacks, 6 300-yard days, and all that. They've added Steph Gilmore, who's a talent. They've got 2 great corners. I mean, 2 fantastic corners now. I mean, Gilmore and Butler are excellent players. The only thing is, they don't adjust real good. Look, Butler's a smart guy. Steph is a talented kid. He's going to struggle with extra things on his plate. So he wasn't a perfect fit there. It's going to take a while, but the thing they got a chance on to fix, unlike the personnel thing, because their personnel's not great, no question, but they do, Hightower's a decent rusher from the edge. They put Van Noy, that's what he did, and that's why he got drafted in the 2nd round. They're not perfect, but I think they got a chance because it's a game-by-game defense. And it's always been that way in New England, even when I was there.
I am much more concerned about Atlanta's offense. Much more concerned. You mentioned, you guys are saying they have Julio Jones. Well, they're not using Julio Jones. Gabriel, 4 red zone targets. Julio Jones, 1 red zone target. Okay? They're not doing it. They're giving up these big leads. The team, they got to the Super Bowl, and it was all about that offense. That offense could score from anywhere on the field at any time, and they were a threat every single possession. They're not doing that. And the offensive coordinator, you are correct. It's not the same offense as of right now. You flip over to New England. Tom Brady and the New England Patriots, with the 24th defense in the league, went to the Super Bowl. With the 31st defense in the league, they went to the Super Bowl. I have faith in Tom and Belichick, as you said, figuring it out on the offensive side of the ball and scoring, because we always say defense wins championships. Nope, the team that scores the most wins the championship. So if you can score points, you got a shot at it, because that affects the way you're going to play your offense, and that's what Atlanta did last year. They were affecting what the other team. Matt Ryan was playing defense. He was playing the other quarterback because they were such a threat to score, it affected the offensive coordinator's game plan. That's not the case anymore. And we see them, Super Bowl, 17-point lead they gave up. A couple of weeks ago, 17-point lead they gave up.
Also, Atlanta's division now, I mean, New Orleans is the surprise team in the league. Carolina is significantly better, and Tampa's talented. Last year, Atlanta got a little bit of a break where Carolina went into the tank. New Orleans felt like they were rebuilding. Some of this is, I mean, to your point, the more I think about it, Atlanta's got a much tougher schedule.
I wanted to ask Rob this before we get out of here. Is Steve Sarkisian, what I don't like about plucking a guy out of college and then making him a coordinator, I just don't think he knows NFL personnel. And I think there's something to that. Well, it's not just calling plays. You got to know who you're playing against and tendencies and all that.
Well, the thing is now, look, I worked with Steve 100 years ago in Oakland, and, you know, he was a quarterback coach there for 1 year. And then he left because he chose to leave. But he doesn't know the pro game like you need to, obviously. And I think he was brought into college late, you know, to coach in that championship game and got beat. Look, this was a great opportunity for him. How do you walk into one of the historic offenses of all time, and then, you know, it's got only one direction to go. It's not going up. It's going down, but it's horrendous. Like, the bottom line is this. You brought up a great point. You know, the great receiver Julio Jones. Well, didn't the same thing happen to that A.J. Green, where the coordinator never got him the ball in the red zone? That didn't work out well for him. He was sent packing, and now the new guy's like, you know what? I'm going to throw the ball to him. Right. It works. Yeah. I'll be darned. Like, I don't care where you are, and I'm a defense coach. I get that. But let's not pretend. If I was an offensive coordinator, the first plays I'm putting in the red zone, I'm going to throw that big, tall guy that nobody can cover.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, they got two guys. I don't care. They better have three guys on them, because I'm going to throw it to my playmakers in the red zone. That's who's going to score. Just like that great guard, you know, the ball kid. He's going to find somebody to pass the ball to, you know, in basketball so they can score, because I like them. But I just don't understand.
All right, Rob, you're on a rant. We got to go.
Greg Jennings, Eric Davis are here. Let's return to the National Football League and Marshawn Lynch, who was ejected in the second quarter last night after rushing on the field and shoving an official while trying to pull his friend Marcus Peters out of a fracas there. Marshawn ended up watching the game from the stands, only Marshawn, which might be where he belongs. As you see there, his first year in Oakland has been kind of a disappointment. In fact, I think his longest run was running out to the field, putting up less than 40 yards a game. 0 100-yard games, 2 touchdowns. Whitlock, should the Raiders now cut ties after that moment last night with Marshawn Lynch?
I don't think he's really all in. I really don't. And I thought it was an odd, hey, let's sign him, make peace with Oakland fans because we're moving to Las Vegas. I don't think that's a good enough reason. And, you know, running out in a very close game, a rivalry game, a desperate game for your team, trying to stop a 4-game losing streak, for a veteran player to do this.
Not smart.
Just not smart. And so, yeah, I would move on.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I just didn't like it. I mean, listen, one of my Meta World Peace, Ron Artest, had a lot of bad moments. I always liked him on my team. So I like Marshawn Lynch. I think this offense can use him. I don't buy that, hey, Marcus Peters is my cousin. I said this earlier today on my radio show. My wife is related, I'm not kidding, to Alexander Hamilton, who started the banking system. I don't get free checking. I don't give you relations. It's not the, I mean, hey, I'm related to a guy. I can run on the field. I don't buy that. But listen, man, these games are hot and they're live. And some of the great players, Rodman had moments where you're like, what in the hell are you doing? I can forgive a guy. I can. I like him on my team.
Yeah, I don't cut ties with Marshawn. This is why you brought him here, because the fans love Marshawn Lynch. He brings this type of, I don't really know what I'm going to get mentality to your team, but you know he's all in. That one thing you know is that he's all in. What he did last night, I didn't know what he was doing. I mean, I think it's safe to say that everybody up here was looking like, what is Marshawn doing? Until you saw the video of him on the BART and all of that. Then it's like, okay, I got it now. But, I mean, what Marshawn brings to the table is a toughness, a veteran savvy. He knows how to win. He's been proven to win. And they're leaving. You alluded to that. They're leaving in a couple years. Hey, this is
Eric.
Hang your hat on.
Are we sure the players didn't like this? I mean, how does that play in the locker room? I don't know.
I think it plays fine in that locker room because, and I think he knew what he was doing. Number one, he was going out to try to just break up the fight. Now, he shouldn't have done that. It wasn't the smartest move, but he put his hat on. If he was just out of control, he wouldn't have put his hat on. He was just run out there. You see him grabbing. He understands, like, if I'm on the field, I have to have my helmet on. So I'm going to go out. I'm going to run out here into this crowd, and where everything's being broken up. They didn't know if he was on the field or not. I think that's what he's thinking. So he's going to go in here and try to pull these guys apart. It wasn't the smartest thing to do, but I can tell he thought about what he knew what he was doing because he put his hat on. So I know he knew what he was doing. He was thinking about the rules in that situation. Now he got out.
About getting punked.
He got out there and he got out of control. But why is he on the team? And I think the players like it because, as Greg was saying, he brings a certain emotion to this team. He's also the biggest running back they have. And there's going to come a point where they have to get a 4th and 1 or a 3rd and 2. And they're going to need a running back to hand the ball off to. That's why they brought him in there. It's not just the emotion. They have their leader. That's Derek Carr.
By the way, you played with Charles Haley.
Yes, I did.
Okay. So Charles Haley did stuff that was team damaging. Marshawn's not team damaging. It was just a dumb moment.
Charles Haley could always get to the quarterback. Marshawn Lynch is averaging 3.7 yards per carry, 38 yards a game. Again,
some of this offensive line, though, too.
I
not having Donald Penn in there at first.
Right. And then let's just don't forget, honest to goodness, there's one group of people that are out on the field who don't have any padding on, and it's the referees. And this is, I've read headlines, he made contact with the referees. He did more than make contact. He grabbed, he shoved. Again, there has to be, and it'll be interesting what the league does here. They could sit him down for a game, could be a serious fine.
And whatever happens
there is a line you shouldn't cross.
Well, in the NBA, you can't even walk onto the court.
Absolutely.
Right. Yeah.
So, I mean, listen, utterly, hockey, you can't be, on a fight, you can't be the first guy in. So most leagues have no tolerance.
He's going to get fined for it.
Again, for all this of Eric to push back about he knew what he was doing, if he really knew what he was doing, why is he putting his hands on the referee? Again, to me,
that's why he lost it. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. He lost it.
Part of me thinks he knows what he's doing. There's cameras on the BART thing. He's got this Facebook Live. There's a lot of guys, to me, in the NFL that are working on their post-careers more than they are at the actual game. Let's move to this week's games. Starting in London, you like the Rams -3.5 versus the Cardinals.
Number one big play offense in the league and a defense that surrenders more big plays. I don't love this pick. By the way, the Rams have played in London before. These London games, it's an advantage if you've done it before.
I don't disagree with a lot of your picks strongly. So this is just a slight disagreement. The Rams stayed in Jacksonville. They've been on the road too long. Cardinals covered a 3.5. Rams win late. All right.
My next one's my favorite pick.
Vikings -5.5.
Blowout.
Hosting the Ravens. Why?
I think Minnesota has the best defense in this league we don't talk about. And I also think Case Keenum is as good as Bradford since Bradford's been banged up the last year. This is a playoff team, and Baltimore, come on, Baltimore's getting return touchdowns. They're not scoring any points.
You know what they are? They're due. D-U-E.
Oh, well,
they are due. And no way Case Keenum looks good 2 weeks in a row and covers. So I disagree with you here as well. Take the Ravens. Get paid, America.
This is my favorite pick of the week. All right, what's the third one?
This is the most interesting pick, and I hate to say I agree with you. Panthers -3 at the Bears. I don't like Trubisky, but what's going on with Cam Newton? He's skipping press conferences because the reporter's back.
Cam's been better on the road this year. He's been a better road. You know why I like this game? I think it's a quarterback mismatch. I think Cam's been better on the road. And I like Trubisky, but he's a 50% completion guy at this point. I mean, he's a kid.
You're not worried about Cam's emotional state.
I'm always worried about Cam's emotional state. Always.
All right, here's a pick that I think a lot of people will be like, wow, that's mind-blowing. 49ers +6 hosting the Cowboys.
Love the Niners' defensive front, and I don't think the Cowboys' O-line is as good as it was last year.
I agree with you here, shockingly. The 49ers have played everybody close.
Everybody.
Why wouldn't they do it here again at home? They're going with an Iowa quarterback. The Iowa, C.J. Beathard is playing quarterback for the 49ers. He looked good last week. All right, the final game, the biggest game of the weekend, Falcons +3.5 at the Patriots. Does Bill Belichick know you're picking the Falcons?
Atlanta,
get tossed out of the club.
To your point earlier, New England's defense, this is what it is. Atlanta, that offense can grow. I think their offense grows Sunday night. Welcome back, joined now by Fox NBA analyst, Mr. Chris Broussard, the founder of the Big Lead, Jason McIntyre. Let's move to the association. Lonzo Ball made his debut last night with the Lakers. Not great. The alleged passing prodigy dished out 4 whopping assists, added 3 points, 1 for 6 shooting. After the game, the guy who shut him down, tough dude Patrick Beverley, said, "It's not going to get any easier for Lonzo."
I told him about the game, man, due to, all the riffraff his dad brings, that he's gonna get a lot of people coming at him. He has to be ready for that, and I let him know after the game. But, what a better way to start with Mr. 94 feet guard than tonight. I'm not done. Welcome to the little young guys at NBA.
Whitlock, bad night, real sign of trouble.
I think it's a sign of trouble. To be, I don't want to make too much of one game, but he didn't look athletic. He didn't look like he did in the summer. And so I think his lack of athleticism shows up against real NBA players. It's like that layup they showed him missing. He didn't get very high off the ground. I mean, this play right here, I don't get that looked unathletic or inathletic or whatever. So, yeah, I think that his dad has put a bullseye on his back.
Yeah.
And I think that's unfortunate. And I don't even think he looks comfortable. He didn't look confident last night.
Okay. First game, at home, super nervous. His first summer league game, he was awful, then the MVP. Listen, he has issues. He didn't attack the rim because he's not dynamic, to your point. Not a great shooter. You got to be one of those two to eventually create respect. Otherwise, guys just going to watch you sit around and pass. But even in college, he went to Australia for a 3-game roadie, and he was awful. He has, because to your point, he is not a great rim finisher. And if he's not hitting his jumper, he has some ugly stat lines. I thought last night he looked a little nervous and a little overwhelmed. I totally agree with your points. But I think those are challenges. He's a spectacular rebounder for his size. He really is a clever passer.
That's what they got him there for, to rebound.
Hey,
He's a spectacular
He rebounds better than Brook Lopez, I'll tell you that.
Yeah,
he really
by
does.
the way, he does play Phoenix tonight. Can we give him one more game?
Yeah, one more shot,
Eric,
one more chance.
Eric Bledsoe's waiting for him. He's going to go
Eric
after him.
Bledsoe.
But he can defend. He's tough. He's not Beverly defensively, but he's that kind of player on the defensive end. Look, Gary Payton averaged 8 points and 6 assists his first 2 years in the league. And less than 5 assists his third year. John Stockton didn't start for his first year and a half. Chauncey Billups, we know, was a bust for his first 5 years before he went to Detroit. So we certainly don't want to judge this guy for one game. And we gave those guys several years to develop. I'll say this, though. Even when Lonzo Ball becomes good, if he does get there, you're not going to judge him by his stat line. You're going to judge him by, is the ball moving? Are the players getting up and down? Is everybody enjoying playing together? What's the chemistry like? And more importantly, even with his quote, did they win? You look at the Summer League, his stats were good. They weren't spectacular all the time. He wasn't always making great plays, but the team, you could just see it. The passing, everybody making an extra pass.
Yeah.
And even when he wasn't there for the title game, they played the same way because of his influence. So that's where you're going to judge Lonzo Ball.
Influence is the key
There's
word.
an energy about him that just rubs off on everybody. But, Whitlock, you opened by talking about how unathletic he looked. You know, Steph Curry's not very athletic. Okay, he turned out to be a pretty darn good pro. I think we're going too hard at a 19-year-old here, but you know what the media loves to do, right? Build people up and then tear them down real quickly. So one bad night against, like you said, the best defensive point guard in the league, of course he's going to look bad. Again, Phoenix Suns tonight, if he has a triple-double, you guys going to come on here Monday and say, hey, bring on LeBron. Let's bring him to L.A.
Well, you got LeBron going. When LeBron gets there, he'll help.
No, I really love the blogosphere scolding the media for building people up and tearing them down.
That's what they do.
The blogosphere is so
we learned
reserved.
it by watching you guys,
So,
by the veteran media.
They never do
Who
that.
built him up? His
LeVar.
dad.
It was dad.
His dad, and then Magic Johnson joined in.
Well, it didn't
Magic
help
was
with
under LeVar's spell, and he joined in and said he's the next
He
me.
doubled UCLA's wins. He was the Rookie of the Year in the Summer League.
That's great, but I think Chris is making a good momentum. And this is what scares me about this kid. It is like there was this momentum about how great he was, and everybody got caught up in it. Now there's going to be this momentum because his team isn't going to be any good. They're going to get thumped night after night after night. He's going to have, there won't be a lot of W's this year.
Well,
and I think that narrative and the dad issue and Eric Bledsoe taking his shot at him tonight and whoever down the road, people taking a shot, I'm concerned that he could get killed in the womb. Because right now he's just in the womb. And if a narrative takes a hold.
To Jason's point, the West is so good at point guard.
Yeah.
What if he is overwhelmed for 2 years?
2 years?
Could be.
They got 3 new starters on the Lakers, guys.
That's the
Working
problem.
in everybody.
Well,
Brandon Ingram's not going to shoot 3 for 15 every night, okay?
He'll be
They're
6
gonna
for
be fine.
15 sometimes.
Oh, you hate Brandon. What do you have against Brandon Ingram? Today, come on.
Lonzo Ball needs teammates.
Yeah.
And in the summer league, he had guys who were really good summer league players.
Yeah.
He doesn't have. Kuzma was a great summer league player.
Yeah.
He doesn't have really good NBA players now. His best three-point shooter is Brook Lopez. And they hit 4 threes last night. Ball's going to need more help. Ingram's more of a concern for me.
No, listen.
Ingram is more of a concern for me.
No, I watched last night. I was texting with an NBA scout, and he's like, Ingram's not any better. That, to your point, you only get assists if a guy can finish the play. Because we know Lonzo's not going to finish.
That's right.
To your point, I do think here's something. Whether it's true or not, they're going to struggle. Where is that point on that schedule in the West where that team goes on a 5-game winning streak and feels great about itself? I don't think it's going to happen.